Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill on a football Friday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer, he is Hill. Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp on the ones and twos. Mr. Hill, how are you?
I'm pumped. And look, T-Bob, Jacob, today the weekend begins, okay? Now we get football tomorrow, get even better football on Sunday. And then guess what? I get to piss Matt Moscona off a little bit later. So I'm feeling great.
He's got the Joe Burrow jersey on, the Bengals jersey on today. Matt did not enjoy my Bengals shirt yesterday. That's on Instagram for those that want to go check it out. He did not enjoy that very much and threw all my papers everywhere and threw my water bottle at me and used some bad words. It was very mean, but we got through it. I was trying to think of an example like 20 minutes ago of like, I mean, it's not like the Kirk Gibson no legs hitting a home run in the 88 World Series. It's not the Jordan flu game, I don't think. He scored like $1 million in that game in the finals. I don't even think it's like Byron Leftwich when his teammates were carrying him at Marshall. But I feel like I've just been playing hurt all week. Like I've got this head cold going. I got this ulcer in my lip. I can't talk. I tried to read 5 FanDuel reads just now for next week. I couldn't get any of the words out. Like this week, I can't. I'm trying to battle through it, people. My apologies for my absolutely atrocious performance this week. We'll try to keep it together for 2 hours and talk a little bit of football because we do have a ton to get to over the next 2 hours. You know the drill by now. We'll go through our NFL There we go. I can't get words out. I slur them constantly, which is also what I think happened to Brian Kelly in the PMAC when he had the microphone. Yeah. Like I just tried to say tears and it just didn't come out right. I think when he tried to say family, he just slurred it. But you know what? It's not as much fun for the national media, so they jump on something else. Okay, let's try this again. We have our NFL tiers at 1:30. We'll talk a little Saints Bengals at 1:45. Our SEC gambling picks in the second hour. Jeremy, for the first time all season, one of us has dipped below 500. It is Jeremy, but just means he might run the table this week. Could be a big week. We shall see. I want to talk a little bit of Heisman in the second hour as well. We got take it or leave it. Of course, our final pick comes up to end the show. I'll tell you this. Generally speaking, I've got all my gambling picks set and my final pick set. I'm going to let our discussion here today dictate my final pick a little bit more. I'm going to let our discussion on, I have some stats and some things I'm going to lead on for my gambling picks, but I don't have them written down yet from STC. So we'll get to those in hour number 2. But we start with LSU and Florida. We did a lot of stats diving on the Gators yesterday. This is only the third matchup since 1985 between these two teams where neither team is ranked. And it's an indication of where these two programs are. That was the talking point in the middle of this week about hiring a first-year head coach and trying to lay the foundation. And it's week to week for both of these programs. Florida's not as good as Tennessee. Florida's not as good as Georgia. LSU's not as good as Alabama. And there are some other teams in the West that LSU's going to have their hands full with for the rest of this season. It's week to week. And this would be a really nice win for both teams on Saturday.
Yeah, it is. I mean, anytime you see two teams, staring 4-3 right in the face, no way you want to start a season, no matter where your program is, and obviously getting to 5-2, it just feels a world of a difference for both of these programs, and two teams who have really big time wins over ranked opponents this season, and obviously had some games that probably didn't go in the favor in the way they would have loved to have. So I think these teams are really, really evenly matched. If you look at kind of where both programs are, roster top to bottom, obviously quarterback situations, head coach situations. And so I think anytime you get LSU and Florida in the swamp, big-time rivalry, we know all the battles between these two programs over the years. It's a big-time opportunities for one of these teams to get to 5-2.
And I think this is an interesting matchup. Like last week, I was all jacked up. I let it impact my pick. I will say that. I was all jacked up. My friends were coming in. Parents were coming in. It's going to be a fun game in Tiger Stadium. Top 10 team coming in. And this is a great chance to have a statement win. And it was. And LSU got their butts kicked on Saturday, and you move on. But this is not a chance for a statement win, in my opinion. But it's also not a trip to Vanderbilt where you're going to win. Like, it's an evenly matched game where it should be really entertaining, and it's one that LSU absolutely should have a chance to win if they play the way that they can, and barring Anthony Richardson going nuts, which he have. I watched a ton of film last night. I watched the Kentucky game. I watched the Utah game. I watched the Missouri game, a little bit of Tennessee as well to see the really good Anthony Richardson, but I had watched that game leading up to Tennessee, so I kind of knew what I was looking at there. Man, last week in the swamp, Florida's offense was atrocious. Mm-hmm. It was terrible. Mm-hmm. it was the bad Anthony Richardson, where when he is good, man, he gets in the open field running, and you're like, whoa. And he's got such a huge arm. One of the throws he made against Missouri, he's rolling hard to his right and just rips a missile about 20 yards in the air to the back of the end zone for a catch to Pearsall for a touchdown. Like, when it looks good, it's like, it's whoa. But it's bad. It's bad. I mean, it's a herky-jerky, violent, short release that's inaccurate a lot of the time. I had forgotten, and Florida had a pick six early in that game. They needed a pick six against Missouri to get to 24 points. I mean, their offense basically put up 17 points in the game. Now, the running backs run in a bad mood. They've got a couple guys that can put their head down and run it. But, man, it was ugly on the offensive side of the football for Florida last week against Missouri.
Yeah, no, it was. And I think, I don't know if it's Missouri kind of ticking it up a little notch here.
No,
with how
it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not. That's just a bad football team. But, yeah, I think if you really kind of follow this Florida offense from the first week of the season to now, it's hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And you kind of never know which version of that offense you're going to get. And I think it goes a lot right in line with their quarterback. I've said it all along before the season started. This Florida team is going to go as far as their quarterback goes. And when he's kind of having one of those big-time games, you can see them score just about 30 points on anybody. But when he's struggling to throw the ball accurately down the field, they're struggling on third down. He's mixing that in with the turnovers, the amount of interceptions he's thrown this season. It's bad, and I think those are kind of the things you really, really worry about if you're a Florida fan. Which version of Anthony are you going to get? Because the athlete that he is. I think any play he can strike the band up with a 70-yard touchdown with his legs. That's just the type of athlete that he is. But also too, you kind of got to worry about him, missing wide open receivers and throwing it in the dirt and throwing it over their head. So I would not love to be on that ground going into a game, because you just it's kind of up in the world and up in the air of what's going to happen. But I think if you're LSU, if you can do a great job kind of slowing him down early, he hasn't been that kind of guy to kind of just light the world on fire in the second half. Once things start going bad, it kind of just ends the game that way with him having a bad performance.
His picks have kind of come in all shapes and sizes. The pick six against Kentucky, the receiver runs a go, and Richardson catches the shotgun snap and immediately goes right and just lets it rip almost in rhythm as like a quick slant. And the Florida receiver never turns around, and the Kentucky guy's just standing there, and he runs it back for a touchdown. That's just flat miscommunication. The other interception he threw against Kentucky was a ridiculous play by the defensive end where he tips the ball up in the air and catches it, and then Richardson's got to tackle him inside the red zone, and Kentucky catched that one as well. But some has been really inaccurate. Some have been miscommunication. Some have been a lack of accuracy or indecision. They come in, like I said, they come in all shapes and sizes. LSU needs to force a couple turnovers. You've got to help your offense. When your offense is struggling the way that it is, the defense has got to help your offense, and not to the point where you're trying to jump routes and letting him have easy throws down the field. I do want to make him matriculate the ball down the field, to use a cliche. But if you get a chance and the ball's in the air, go make a play on it and give your offense a short field.
Yeah, most definitely. I think you got to kind of make the same case in that Auburn game. If that defense doesn't create the amount of turnovers that they do, you definitely lose that football game, especially in a hostile road environment. So I think you got to kind of recreate that in this week's football game. A defense we've seen force turnovers, whether it's strip sacks, whether it's interceptions. I think all those things are on the table this week, and you have to do it. I think if you don't want to live in a world where Florida gets their run game going, then now Richardson's getting some confidence going. This offense could potentially start slow. The crowd gets into it. We know how loud that swamp is going to be, and I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be a very, very difficult avenue to win that football game. So if you can force some turnovers this week, I think it definitely exponentially helps your chances of winning.
One thing I noticed from Richardson in watching over and over and over again, Florida, of course, is going to lean on their run game. That's what they do best. And so I'm looking at the run game, some pistol, a lot out of the gun, and Richardson does a nice job of handling the ball, whether it's a jet sweep fake and then immediately a counter off the back of it, little read option stuff. He's very smooth in terms of handing the football off, and there's a lot of eye candy that goes with it. Rob Sale's calling this offense with Billy Napier, and those two guys have known each other a very, very long time, going back to their days at ULL. Of course, Rob Sale played here. It's not as bad, and I've told this story a million times as a guy who's not a huge X's and O's guys. I was in the end zone low for the 2008 game when Tebow was a quarterback with Demps and Rainey and all those guys, and when they scored 50 on us. And being low in the end zone and watching Tebow work the read option and deal with the jet sweeps and turn his back to the line of scrimmage where you're looking at a jet sweep or a counter play, and like just the ball handling that plays with linebacker and offensive lineman's eyes, that's where Florida tries to get you. The running backs aren't all league type players. They're just good. And the offensive line blocks it open, and those guys run really hard. I think, in my opinion, Montreal Johnson is a little better than Trevor Etienne. He's also a year older. He was a Sun Belt Freshman of the Year last year at Louisiana Lafayette, and he runs really, really hard. But both guys are pretty much the same, and it's not, you're not looking at Darren McFadden here. I think y'all are all aware of that, or you'd know who he was. But it's more of winning the lineup scrimmage up front for LSU and finding the football.
Yeah, no, you have to be assignment sound this week. I think, Napier, that's what he kind of got hired to do, kind of being the, innovative offensive mind that he has. Is you're going to see some of that misdirection stuff, and the best thing you can do as a defense just be gap sound. Like, if you got the B gap, don't worry about the running back flying over here and you trying to jump out of your gap, or if you got the edge and no one can get outside of you, just hold that edge down and make sure your eyes are disciplined and you do that, because looking at this Florida team, their offensive line, they can run block, and that's something that they can do. And so the second you start trying to do other things and, hell, let me help this guy out and do that stuff, then now you're getting gashed. And then the next thing you know, Richardson's pulling it out, and then he's 50 yards down the field. And so you got to be as disciplined as you can be this season in this football game, because you kind of saw this defense kind of take a huge step back as far as rush defense goes last week. The worst thing you can do is parlay that with back-to-back bad rushing performances, because things can definitely get out of hand in that swamp. We've seen it before.
You don't have to worry about as much as tempo and big chunk plays and just precision pat. It's a slow grind for Florida. They want to run block. They want Richardson to run the ball. They just want to wear you down over there in the swamp. Opening hour on Fridays brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. Looking to buy or refinance your own home, Ryan Schimpf and the crew at Angel Oak Home Loans can help you out with that. Set you up for our schedule tomorrow before we take a break and get to something that I really want to talk about with LSU's offense. Schedule for tomorrow, 6 o'clock kickoff Central Time in the Swamp. So at 5 o'clock, Eagle 98.1 game day from Rouse's. That'll be Charles Handegriff and Matt Musso cranking things up. You can head on over to Rouse's and check them out, or catch it on Eagle 98.1. They'll hand it off to me at 4 o'clock with the LSU Sports Radio Network. Marlon Favorite, Brandon Taylor, and myself will be on campus for 90 minutes getting you ready for kickoff. Then we'll throw it to the broadcast team in the Swamp. They will have the play-by-play of the game, and then 30 minutes after it goes final, you'll catch us again on the Fighting Tiger post-game report. We'll be with you for an hour and 90 minutes after it goes final from the Swamp. Charles Handegriff, Jeremy Hill, right where we're sitting right here in studio on Eagle 98.1 game day for the post-game. So 1 o'clock start tomorrow. We'll run you all the way up past midnight, very, very likely. LSU and Florida, everything right here under the guarantee roof. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, I got to talk about something I saw on tape that the LSU offense has got to take advantage of and got to take shots at. That'll be next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal, elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana every month here on Hunt and Hill. This month we are telling you about Fresh Junkie Racing.
Yeah, Fresh Junkie Racing is a group of racing enthusiasts that have taken their love of running and built a business providing citizens across the state a way to get moving and stay moving. Created by athletes for athletes, Fresh Junkie Racing hosts world-class road racing events and triathlons right here in Louisiana, welcoming crowds from across the globe to experience this place we call home.
I'm hitting the pavement next week. Started the diet this week, starting the exercise next week. Fresh Junkie Racing is promoting great health here in our state. They host 18 events every single year, including the Louisiana Marathon. Tomorrow is the Huey P. Long Bridge Run at 8 o'clock in the morning. Turkey Trots, Baton Rouge and St. Tammany, Thursday of Thanksgiving, 8 o'clock a.m. It'll be on Convention Street here in Baton Rouge, or if you're on the North Shore, 701 North Columbia Street. These races are such an economic boon for the state. The Louisiana Marathon alone, $5.2 million in economic impact on this state. Fresh Junkie, improving people's fitness and health, improving our economy at the same time. That's why they are a champion of Louisiana. That's why LWCC wants to elevate them and celebrate them. Fresh Junkie Racing, champion of Louisiana, presented by LWCC.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel. to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
We get it done with strength,
commitment,
dedication,
grit.
We get it done
with passion for our fans
and love for our community.
We are the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical.
Jimmy on 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with bunch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here on a Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill with you. Opening hour brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. We'll get to the NFL slate here in about 12 minutes, as we do each and every Friday. But I almost came out of my chair watching last night the Kentucky-Florida game. Not because I hadn't seen the play. I had seen the play. But it's week 2. And Kentucky's first touchdown, they just drop back on a second down about midfield. And Levis just flips one to the goal line. 1-on-1. And the Kentucky dude just raises up, high points it, makes the catch, touchdown at the goal line. And I thought, we hadn't done that one stinking time. Like, can we go make a play? Put the ball up there, and one of these guys has got to go make a play in the end zone. That's what it's going to take. This offense is not good enough to just find itself and just start cooking with rhythmic passes all over the field. We're not going to become some running powerhouse a la the 2012 Alabama team. Like, we got to hit some plays. And I saw that, and I said, that's freaking Kentucky. Every person we have is going to make more money than their wide receivers and had more stars in their name in high school. So for the 3 years they're here in purple and gold, go make a play.
Look, I've been preaching that all season long, and it's really not hard, man. It's really the easiest thing you can do. Look, you look at the safety, middle of the field's closed. Oh, Kayshawn's on the outside. Hey, run a go ball, throw the go ball. Like it's really backyard football.
First drive against Florida State, they threw him up one. I haven't seen one since.
That's the craziest thing to me, especially when you got a revolving offensive line, the running attack that you really can't depend on at a high level. We know just how difficult this team is to score touchdowns early in the game. I mean, like I continue to say, like you can get a pass interference call. They may grab them. They may hold them. That's free 15 yards. Or Kayshawn will go up there and run a good play. And then the worst thing that could happen is throw an interception. But I think you just have to do that. Like, to me, these athletes, you're not hearing NFL guys come and watch these practices, come watch this film and say, you know what, Kayshawn's a first-round receiver. We should probably not throw him the ball. Like, Malik, he's getting a lot of buzz right now. You know what? Nah, we're not going to give that guy any chances. And to me, of all the guys, I would love to see BTJ. Like, that kid's we're talking
he's
about.
He's making plays.
Yeah, we're talking about a 6'5" receiver on the outside matched up with all these 5'11", 5'10" DBs. Like, you got to give these guys chances to go make jump balls, especially when you can't depend on your passing attack to, hey, it's Mississippi State. We'll just pass it 12 times, just drive and be in the red zone and score a touchdown. Like, we just haven't seen that from this offense. So, yeah, I think now more than ever, especially on the road in the swamp, that crowd noise is going to be buzzing. You know the best way to shut that crowd up? Go for a 30-yard completion. Go for a 40-yard touchdown, giving your guy a chance to make a play. So, please, Mr. Jaden, please, and we need it. We need it this week. Let's take some shots.
This is an inappropriate question to ask, so we're just going to go ahead and do it because I know the answer. But I don't know the answer. I know the feeling. My interview to this morning, went over to Football Ops, and I talked with LSU quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan. And in the midst of the interview, I said, what were the progressions that Nuss made from Southern to New Mexico? It looked better to me, the untrained football guy. He said, yeah, I think we told him to settle down and that you don't have to get it all at once and that you're not fighting for your life every time you're out there. And, I think there's some merit to that, and there was more to the answer. You'll hear it on the pregame show tomorrow. And it wasn't super juicy or anything like behind the scenes. It's as easy an interview as you can do. It's the LSU Sports Radio Network. It ain't the Wall Street Journal come to investigate. But I wonder where the staff is on maybe going to Nuss at some point if the offense is not clicking and you get behind and need to throw the ball. I wonder if you're anywhere close to that. I mean, you said on Monday you don't think that it's even close.
I think that ship sailed probably about 5 or 6 months ago. That's just.
I really don't think that.
I think so, man. I think especially with them looking at this offensive line and kind of looking at the run game. And look, if you had a run game where Nuss could hand it off 20 times a game, you walk in 150 yards rushing, then I could potentially see that. But I think with them kind of viewing this rushing attack for what it is, kind of looking at the backs the way they look at the backs. I think they just really think Jaden's their only chance to win football games and have an offense that, is efficient enough to score touchdowns. And they haven't been doing much of that either. So I know how everyone feels, how I feel about it. I think, with a quarterback, I know Jaden walking to the end of the game, yes, 300 yards passing. Like when you had to have touchdowns, you couldn't have that. When you had to make vertical throws on 3rd down and 4th down, you didn't make those throws. And so I just think Nuss is a better passer of the football than Jaden is at this point. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think this coaching staff really loves what Jaden brings to this offense. They love his legs. They can make some draws in there. They love when the play breaks down. He can extend it and use his legs and everything of that nature. So I think he's going to have like 3 interceptions, no points scored. It's going to have to it's going to have to get bad. And I think just the way he throws the ball, he's never putting it in harm's way. Shocked he had the interception to Malik. I'm surprised he had that one.
I didn't know about it till Tuesday.
So
there you go.
Yeah, so I think he's got to be in there, especially if he's not going to turn it over.
For those that missed that, I was looking at the stat sheet Tuesday at 12:15 p.m. and found out that he had thrown an interception towards the end of the game. I had the text. I was on the ramps of the Tiger Stadium walking down to go to the postgame show in the parking lot and didn't figure I was going to miss anything there, and it didn't affect the game, but I didn't know it happened until Tuesday. I never heard about it. I was trying to text Haldane to give me our out time right when the game ends, so I know that we're going 90 minutes, but that's a story for a different day. I'm not here to suggest that Nussmeier that the team is not putting the better quarterback out there. That's not my intention. I do think the skill sets are different, and if you were listening to Off the Bench this morning, they tried a little something a little different. I don't know what the reception was of it. They'll look at it, but they did some film work up here in our studio on the video portion of what we've got here, and they just showed, again, another pocket against Tennessee. It is just clean. There is no one coming through the pocket, and Malik's on a post, and Besh is running it over, and there's 2 spies right there, and he just runs into it. And at some point, that's almost as bad as an interception at some point. So I do get where they're coming from, but man, it's not getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Rohan Davies' film breakdown, and I was literally, wow, I'm glad I'm not the only person in the world that saw this, but he was talking about the second drive of the game against Tennessee, and I think this is every quarterback's dream. I think even Flynn talked about it earlier this week. You run a max protection play, the line blocks up everybody. There's no one there. The middle of the field, the safeties come down. Kayshawn's running a big post route. He's literally running by himself, and
just throw it up.
I don't know what he was looking at. Like, especially at that point in the game, if you throw that big post to Kayshawn, he walks into the end zone. It's just those type of plays change things. It kills momentum. It puts so much stress on the defensive backs. Like, oh, we got to back up and everything. And then now the short game gets better. Now you can run the ball a little easier. It's just you have to put a threat on them vertically. And when you don't do that week after week after week, it just puts so much pressure on you to play perfect. You got to run the ball down everyone's throat. You got to complete every single pass. You got to convert every fourth down. Like, you need those big plays. And so I'm sure, Jaden's probably sick of hearing it. I don't know when we're going to get to that point of insanity.
I'm sure it's being coached incessantly.
For sure.
It just it's not working up there.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. It's like the exact opposite of having the turnover, that demon. It's like he doesn't want to turn it over. It's like to a 10. It's like you got to kind of have that happy medium to where, look, we got to take shots down the field. Any vertical passing attack that you respect in this country, they're taking shots down the field. Every team we play against, I see them taking shots. Florida State's taking shots down the field. It's just like everyone you play, they're doing it. Our offense does not do it for whatever reason. You have every weapon in the world you could dream of. I'm sure that's why Jaden took his talents to LSU. It's like, man, look at the receivers they have there. Look at my receivers here at Arizona State. Like, I'd rather be throwing to those guys. So let's kind of start seeing that happen a little bit, especially down the field.
Last little piece when LSU has the ball. Check out my man 21 on Florida's team. Desmond Watson, 6'5", 415. Guy is an absolute unit. He only has 3 tackles on the year, but he will take 2 dudes with him wherever he goes because he is a big, big man. He comes in there on first downs. It's he's hard to move. I'll put it at that. He wears 21 for the Gators. All right, that's our little look at LSU and Florida early. Of course, our final pick coming up at the end of the show. We will take a timeout during this opening hour brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. And when we do and come back, we will do an NFL tier list looking at the slate for Sunday. Pretty good one. We'll check it out next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
Now it's a perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 1045 ESPN.
Promo code's 1045. They got all your favorite bets, money line, point spreads, player props. If you look at the NFL slate right there on the NFL tab, you can look at Saints and Bengals from the Dome. Depending on where your allegiances lie, it might be where you want to throw a few dollars. The Bengals now a 1.5-point favorite in New Orleans. If you want the Saints on the money line, coming back $1.10. You can get paid fast when you win. All on an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. Don't fumble your chance. Get $150 free dollars, win or lose with promo code 1045 ESPN. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonuses and always raw free bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Seven in the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic Eye and Central kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour on a football Friday, as always, brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. If you are looking to buy a new home or you'd like to refinance your current home, Angel Oak Home Loans is your spot. Sometimes it's tough to get a loan. If you're an investor, maybe you're self-employed, having a hard time, been rejected a couple places, been declined, Angel Oak's got some really creative solutions for you. Check out angeloakhomeloans.com. Check out Ryan Schimpf, former Tiger, former Major Leaguer, over there at Angel Oak. He will be happy to help you out. Hey, Tom Hunt and Hill sent you over there. We appreciate him for being the sponsor for the opening hour each and every Friday. angeloakhomeloans.com. All right, now let's go into our NFL slate. Jeremy, you know the drill by now. Tiers 4 is the trash. 1 is must-see TV. I am thrilled to announce, since that disaster last night is in the rearview mirror, we don't have any tier 4s this weekend. Now, that would have clearly qualified last night. And most Thursday Night Football is going to qualify, not next week with the Cardinals and Saints. But that was bad last night. We don't have to worry about it. So we'll move into tier 3 immediately. The worst action of the weekend, but not too bad. We'll start with the Patriots at the Browns. Chubb and Hunt and the Browns lead the NFL in rushing. You know how Bill's usually wired. You think he can slow that down?
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one, man. That's arguably the best back in football, but if I know Bill, he's going to do everything in his power to take your best weapon away and make you beat you with your left hand. And so I still think Chubb's going to have his day. I mean, it just seems like he walks into 100 yards rushing every game. But you're looking at this quarterback play. You're talking about Bailey Zappi, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, former Patriot Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. I got the Browns here. I think the Browns find a way to win this football game.
No running back in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has had 3 games in a row with 50 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. Leonard Fournette has done it the last 2 weeks. They are at the Steelers, who are not good.
Yeah, that's just a Steelers, man. I'm not used to seeing those guys not have much of a pulse. They're normally pretty tough football team to play against week in and week out. You know they're going to be physical, but I think they've kind of lost that physical way when they can kind of hand the ball to Le'Veon whenever they feel like it. You know, kind of Najee had some success last year as a rookie, but that run game isn't there, and obviously you lose your best player on defense in T.J. Watt. that avenue is not there, so the pass rush just isn't as intense. So, yeah, I think the Bucs have to find a way to win this game. I put it on my worst loss of the week.
Yep.
They lose to this bad Steelers team. That's definitely probably the worst loss in football.
My worst loss of the week would be the defending Super Bowl champion Rams welcoming in the coachless Panthers. Matt Stafford has thrown 7 interceptions. That is tied for the worst in the league. Matt Stafford has been sacked 21 times. That is tied for the worst in the league. The Rams are the champs. They're getting their quarterback sacked as much as anybody. They're turning the ball over via interception as much as anybody. They got to figure something out.
No, they definitely do. I mean, you kind of see that Super Bowl hangover all over that football team. And I know everyone keeps talking about Odell. They need Odell. Like, Odell's going to be looking at Stafford getting sacked when he turns around and looking for the ball. So I don't think that's just the end-all, be-all. Just get Odell back. And so that offensive line, I think is something that they're going to have to fix, and they're going to have to fix it quick if they're going to have any aspirations of turning this season around. But it's Taylor Sharp's favorite quarterback, Baker Mayfield's last in QBR. So I think they should find a way to win this football game.
All right, last one in Tier 3 here. The Cardinals are at the Seahawks division game out west. This just keeps getting worse. I think they gave this stat 2 weeks ago, and it hadn't changed. The Cardinals in the first quarter this year have been outscored 38-0. Nice script, Kyler and Cliff. That's doing very, very well. The Seahawks, on the other hand, second most first quarter points in the NFL this year. So Cards better get off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, no, I think they have to, and that's kind of a team right now. I don't think they get him back this week. They probably get him back next week, but they get DeAndre Hopkins back very soon. I think that's going to help that team out a ton. But going into this game, I think for the Cardinals, you got to find a way to win, especially when you lost the way you lost last week. You're sliding right before the first down, spiking the ball, and then missing a field goal. It's like that's just bad football. So for the Cardinals, I think they can find a way to win this football game.
Go to Tier 2. Good football here. Usually West Coast teams flying out east do not fare all that well. The 49ers are headed to Atlanta all the way across the country, but this matchup is really good for them. Atlanta has got the third worst passing offense in the NFL. San Francisco has the third best pass defense. You wouldn't figure that Atlanta would get too much going through the air, and Cordell Patterson's not going to play. So the Falcons have 3 running backs I never heard of that are playing in this game. They're probably going to get the ball a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that's just what that team does, especially with Mariota at the quarterback position. They're going to run the read option. They're going to make you feel threatened with his legs, and then they're going to try to mix a little play action in there. But I think if the Falcons aren't able to get that run game going at a very, very high level, I don't think I like their chances to win that football game.
How about this stat with the Jets at the Packers? Green Bay has scored 7 or less points in 4 of their 5 second halves. So nothing going in the second half for the Packers. The Jets, third in the NFL in second half scoring. Maybe you get the Jets, Mr. Wilson carving up Aaron Rodgers and the crew in the second half.
Man, look, that scrappy defense, man. They got a scrappy defense over there. Sauce Gardner's having a really, really great season. And, Zach got that dog in him. We all know the type of dog Zach has in him. But I think that I like the Packers to win this game. It's rare you see Aaron Rodgers play the way he did in the second half against the Giants and then follow that up with a really bad performance the next week. I think they make it a big emphasis this week to give Dillon and Jones the ball in the run game, and I think they find a way to beat this young Jets team.
Would not have thought this would have been in Tier 2, but it is. The Jags are at the Colts. We know the Colts stink on ice in Jacksonville. They can't win there. They're 3-8 in their last 11 in Jacksonville. However, they're 8-2 against the Jaguars in Indy. Little betting tip for you. The Colts have gone under 10 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, they have a scrappy defense and just not the offense to back it, especially when you look at kind of Matt Ryan on his last legs. I think they're getting Jonathan Taylor back this week, which could really, really help that offense out. And, yeah, Jags, man, started out hot, and then they're back to kind of doing Jags things. So I think at home the Colts should be able to hold serve and figure out a way to beat this young Jacksonville Jaguars football team.
You talked about best win on the board here. The Ravens are at the Giants. Lamar Jackson 12-0. Against the NFC. In a little reunion, you know this guy, former Ravens defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, was there for 10 years. Mm-hmm. He's now with the Giants. Little reunion. Think he can slow down Lamar?
Well, Lamar's a dangerous guy to blitz because that's kind of what Wayne's whole deal is. He loves to blitz, especially third down situations. But when you do that, you open up those pass rush lanes, and if Lamar gets into that second level, it can get real, real dangerous for you. But, yeah, I'm kind of on your camp. I'm not quite sold on Danny Dimes.
I can't buy the Giants yet.
Yeah,
I just can't.
I'm just not sold. I'm going to have to see this for probably a 12, 13-week sample size for me to think this is the real deal.
10 weeks of good football? I don't think so. I'm going to need 13.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with them. So, yeah, I think the Ravens should find a way to win this game on the road.
No, I'm looking at ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
NLCS, baby.
On this date in 2003, Hunt's a sophomore in high school, the Steve Bartman play. Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Gotta love those Cubs fans,
Oh,
right? Didn't that guy
my
become
God.
famous or something?
Bartman? he like had to move. He moved to Florida. And some Sports Illustrated writer got an assignment. They had their monthly meeting, and Sports Illustrated or ESPN, the magazine, and the editor just slipped him a sticky note that said, "Find Bartman." And that was the whole assignment. And the guy found Bartman in a parking garage in Florida and was like, they sent me here like, will you do this? And he was like, no, I'm out of here. So I was inconsolable. That was game 6. After game 7, I was inconsolable. This is sad. And it wasn't like I was 8. I was in high school. I could drive. I couldn't quite drive yet, but I was a sophomore. I was 3 months from driving. And I hung my Sammy Sosa jersey up in my closet and just started crying. Like, I just could not believe they lost to the Marlins after a 3-1 lead. That was a sad time for Hunt. All right, that's Tier 2. We'll go to Tier 1 now. Must-see TV, got 3 of them this week. I don't know if you would necessarily put this one in there because the quarterback situation's a little bit dicey, obviously, but it's teams with winning records, and I think the Vikings are an interesting story. So the Vikings are at the Dolphins. Skylar Thompson is at quarterback for Miami. We saw him in the Texas Bowl for Kansas State. I don't know if anybody remembers anything about that game because it was totally worthless. I remember that we beat Kentucky in the PMAC that night. But that's who's going to be taking the snaps for the Dolphins. That's a huge deal, and I'm curious to see if the Vikings can hold off the Packers, which I think they're going to.
Look, the only thing I remember about that Texas Bowl is them hitting the gritty with our, fourth-string receiver playing quarterback. So, look, Jets, I need you to hit the gritty on the Dolphins, give Thompson a little payback for what we just watched in January. So, yeah, I got the Vikes in this game. I think they've been a little shaky on the road, but I think with a third-string quarterback rookie, that pass rush should be able to get after him, and my boy Jets to hit the gritty on them back and get some payback for the Tigers.
Man, we've got Saints-Bengals at noon, which is huge for everybody around here, I know. And then that 3 o'clock window, you got Bills-Chiefs, which you just cannot miss. Interestingly enough, the big stat on this game that I dug up is the two quarterbacks have run a ton in these matchups. Mahomes averages over 40 yards per game running against Buffalo. Allen averages over 64 rushing yards a game against the Chiefs. And interestingly, Travis Kelce, 7 touchdowns through 5 games, second most ever for a tight end through 5 games. Obviously had a huge 4-touchdown game last week, but that's going to be a massive showdown. And I put it as best win on the board if the Bills could go to KC and win.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably definitely the game of the week. Those TV viewership numbers are probably going to be very, very high with the amount of eyes that are going to be watching that football game. So I think for both teams, huge spot. I think with the first round bye being on the line, being the number 1 seed in the AFC, and obviously those bragging rights that you want to have are early in the season, beating some of the best teams in football. That's going to be a lot of great football being watched. And I don't know, man. It's hard to pick a team to win them, but if I had to, you put a gun to my head, I would probably go with the Bills because I just think they're a better team top to bottom.
I will take the Chiefs. I think Mahomes is on fire. Not that Allen's not very good, but I'll just take Mahomes on his home field in that one. And the nightcap, Cowboys at Philly, clearly Tier 1. I did not know this until I learned this morning. 4 of 5 Philadelphia offensive linemen dealing with an injury entering this game. That does not sound like very much fun against this Cowboys pass rush. Cooper Rush, 5-0 as a starter, 5-0 against the spread. We'll go to Taylor in a second, but your thoughts on this one?
Oh, man. I think this will be the best test for Jalen Hurts. You kind of look at the teams they played this year. Not world beaters, beating the Cardinals, beating up on the Jags, beating up on the Commanders with Carson Wentz. It's like, we'll see. This is probably the best defense they're going to play, the most hellacious pass rush they're going to see. And so it's going to be a big test. If I had to pick a team just because they're at home, I think the Eagles find a way to win, especially if Cooper's playing. I don't know if he's going to be able to, pass the ball at a high enough clip. And then obviously run the ball is going to be huge for the Cowboys to try to have success in this game. So I'm going to go with your fantasy quarterback. I'm going to go with Mr. Hurts at home to find a way to win this game.
Mr. Sharp, your boy's going to get it done on Sunday Night Football?
I think they are. I really do think they are. But because of what you mentioned about the offensive line problems with the Eagles, this is the best pass rush in the NFL. I don't see a close second at this point in the league. And look, Philadelphia, their defense has caused a lot of turnovers, but Cooper Rush has been very, very safe with the ball. If the Cowboys can play a turnover-clean game, they'll be right in it at the end. I trust Brett Maher to get a game-winning kick. I think the Cowboys win.
I think the Cowboys win as well. I think we're all on the same – well, 2 of us are on the same boat. You're swimming by yourself over there. All right, we'll talk Saints and Bengals to close out hour number 1, presented by Angel Oak Home Loans. Next, it's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Is it too early to start thinking about like Christmas gifts or what you may want to give your significant other? Guys, if you're listening, lady might like a new closet. Lady might like that bathroom renovated or remodeled. David Duvall and his crew at One Bath and Closets are your one-stop shop. The website is onebathandclosets.com. Go there and check it out. The process is so easy. They'll come over, they'll take a look at what you've got, they'll give you a questionnaire, you fill it out, and they'll put together a customized product just for you. Look, they can come in and knock walls out and absolutely gut what you've got and start from scratch with your bathroom or your closet, or they can just use the space you've got a little bit more economically, and that's what their specialty is. If you tell David and his crew at One Bath and Closets that we sent you at Hunt and Hill, 30% off of your project. 30% off. You don't have to move to enjoy a new space. You can just renovate what you've got. That's a little more cost-effective or a little more convenient for you, and One Bath and Closets can do it for you. And I promise you, they're not going to come back 2 or 3 months later and say, oh, yeah, we got to fix this because we took a shortcut there and didn't quite work out. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. They will promise you that. One Bath and Closets is your stop. OneBathAndClosets.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll preview the biggest games with Phil Steele. The Riot Radio Hours return. Our guest picker. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Looking at my ticket app here for Saints Bengals. 2 tickets, sort by price. You can sit in $625 for $107 a ticket. Not terrible. You want like good seats down low. Cheapest one, $362 a ticket for Saints and Bengals. We'll see how those move as the weekend progresses. It's the one that everybody's had penciled in for months now since the schedule came out. It'll be Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the crew. We'll see what Tyrann Mathieu be out there. We'll see about Jarvis Landry. Does not sound great for Jarvis at this point. Saints found a little something offensively against a terrible defense last week. How transferable, how applicable, how likely is it that they can continue to pick up some steam offensively? Assuming that Kamara is going to be just fine, I don't expect Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry right now to suit up. That could certainly change over 48 hours, but it just doesn't feel great right now. They haven't practiced.
Yeah, I think anytime you're getting to this week of practice where you're not getting a full week's in, even like doing like some like individual stuff, it's normally not a great sign that you're going to play in the game. And then too, like, even if you do, like, what version of yourself do you think is going to be out there? And then you're always, risking further injury on the thing that you really didn't get a chance a full week and get your legs kind of underneath you going into the game. So if I'm the Saints, don't risk it. I mean, there's so much football left. It's not like this is, you lose this game, you're eliminated from the playoffs. So I think, we kind of saw Michael Thomas come in that playoff game in one leg and he ended up with no catches. So it's just, you don't want to do that, and I think Jarvis is in the same boat. You still got, I think Olave is looking like he's, he's
going to be all right.
Yeah. It's like he's getting through protocol. You still got Callaway. You still got Traquan Smith. So it's not like you're just
see Hardy out there.
Yeah.
Although Hardy didn't practice yesterday. So
but I still think those three, you can still have at least a respectable, passing attack. And then you kind of saw Troutman kind of make a little cameo last week. So I think you have enough, especially if Kamara's going to run the ball the way he did last week, to not really force those guys out there and risk further injury. So, but obviously we both talked about it. It's just you can't catch a break with the injury bug. Like, it's not the same Saints football team you thought going into the season, but I still think you still have enough help to kind of try to get you through this football game.
How do you handicap Lamar versus Marshawn when we see it?
Yeah, I think you got to give help. Like, you got to give help, man. Like, no, you're not just leaving Jamar one-on-one. He's got to run a go ball. Joe's going to throw away a deep ball. Whoa. Are you telling me
I saw plenty of those in 19. I've seen them by the truckload.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. I didn't know about that. I'm not going to go back shoulder. Not going to get too crazy here. But, I think you leave Marshawn coming off some rib stuff, coming off being banged up a little bit with the healthy Jamar. I don't love that, man. I don't love that for any defensive back. And you've kind of seen coordinators this year. You see a guy go for almost 1,700 yards as a rookie. You're going to start getting a lot of attention, but that opens up the world for T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, and we know Joe's not going to really force the ball if he doesn't have to. So, but if I'm the Saints, double team Jamar.
Well, the key for the Saints, I don't think there's any question. We'll see what they can do on offense. I think they'll move it a little bit, but they're not going to go nuts. The key for the Saints is their defensive line's got to win the game against a bad unit. The Bengals have been bad on the offensive front. Cam Jordan, that crew's got to go to work. Cam continues to play really well. You got a guy in Trey Hendrickson that used to be on the other side, now playing for the Bengals. But if the Saints don't win at the point of attack with their defensive front against that offensive line, they got no shot. But if they dominate the front, which is very likely, I think, they got a real shot.
Yeah, no, it's a huge shot. Now, I think anytime you look at this kind of Bengals offense this season, they just haven't been able to get the run game going to a high enough level. And that's kind of what they were able to do last year, especially when Mixon was healthy. And it just makes it so much easier for Joe to see those one-on-one matchups when you bring that extra safety in the box. And then now it's Shamar one-on-one, now it's T. Higgins one-on-one. And those are just easy pitch and catch throws for Joe. And so if you're the Saints team, got to obviously stop that run game first, stop Mixon, which I think they're probably going to be capable of doing, especially looking at how this offensive line is kind of blocked this season. And then obviously open the world up on 3rd and long to get after Joe. And if you can do that, it's going to really, really help you out, especially if you can get the Superdome behind you. I think it may be a little more Bengals fans, but you're going to have to get this crowd into it and, make it tough for this offensive line to continue to block you over and over.
I hashtagged on the Instagram that we put up yesterday when Matt came in the studio and I was wearing my Bengals shirt that he was really not fond of that. And I hashtagged mean Matt. There's going to be a lot of mean Matts in the Superdome. There are a lot of Saints fans, especially one that don't give a rip about LSU, that are cranky about some of their state mates that are looking the other way. I walked in wearing that shirt to the morning show yesterday just to ask a question. I wasn't even talking about it. And Mario put his face in his palm like, I can't believe you're wearing that. The Dome's going to be on fire on Sunday. They always bring it, especially when the Saints have a real chance. And even if, the opponent's good or bad, air quotes, the Dome's going to be lit. And the Dome's going to be awesome on Sunday, and I don't think there's any significant presence of Bengals fans that impacts the crowd noise whatsoever. So I think it's going to be awesome in the Dome on Sunday.
Yeah, I got people beating my head up in the Bayou 4 chat saying, I hope Joe gets sacked 5 times. I hope they lose by 3. I'm like, dude, like, it's okay. Like, the Saints can still win and Joe have a good day. Like, talking about the greatest Tiger ever. And then you have the LSU profile pick and just cheering against Joey. Like, what are we doing? Come on.
Look, if he was playing for the St. Louis Cardinals, I'd hope he struck out 4 times. I don't have – it does not translate that way. Now, I'd be – that would be hard for me if that happened. But he didn't play for the Falcons, so at least we can help with that. He carries more with him than any athlete that's ever come through LSU, and that's the reality of it. I just don't think it impacts the crowd whatsoever on Sunday in the Dome. We'll give our final pick for Saints and Bengals an hour from right now with our final pick for LSU and Florida. We got 1 hour to go left in the work week. When we come back after SportsCenter, get our SEC gambling picks. Hope your Friday's going well. Come back. It's Hunt and Hill.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done
With passion for our fans and love for our community. We are
the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Game 2 ALDS, the Guardians were down 2-0 early. They've rallied, now tied at 2 with the Yankees. Game in the top of the 6th. New York slugger Aaron Judge so far today 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Hall of Fame reliever and 1979 Cy Young winner Bruce Sutter has died at the age of 69. He was recently diagnosed with cancer and died last night in hospice. Some venting from quarterback Justin Fields last night after he and the Bears dropped their 3rd straight game. He said he's tired of almost being there, being this close. The problem is that Chicago doesn't have enough good players, points out our Keyshawn Johnson.
You looking at the roster, you looking at some of the players, you're like, well, okay, I see why they're not doing it. They don't have anything. They got one guy in Mooney, and he's a 2B guy at the position. He's not a 2A, he's not a 1, he's a 2B. So essentially, he's your 3rd guy that needs to get bumped to a 2. If something happens to your 2, he can never be your true 1.
Keyshawn of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. The NFL fined Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady $11,000 for kicking Falcons defensive lineman Grady Jarrett on the play in which Jarrett was penalized for unnecessary roughness last Sunday.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Key most to gain: Cowboys, Eagles, Bills, or Giants.
And I'm going to say between the Eagles and the Cowboys, whoever wins the game.
Get more from the guys Monday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Tom Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One more hour in the working week for us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Hunt and Hill with you. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill. This hour we'll have our final pick at the end of the hour. We will talk a little about Heisman impact for this weekend, which there's a significant amount in my opinion. But we start with gambling picks for the Southeastern Conference. Hunt Palmer, big week last week. They're up a little 4-2. Hunt is 24-21-1 on the year. Jeremy with a 1-5 start last week. He is now 21-24-1, 3 games under 500. So it's an opportunity to get back on track. We got 5 games this week. There's 4 conference games and 1 out-of-conference contest. We will start with the morning game in Oxford. Auburn headed to the Grove. They will take on Ole Miss. The Rebs, undefeated on the season, got a trip to Baton Rouge coming next week. They are laying 15 points against Brian Harson's team, as we have said now for 3 weeks, for now.
Yeah, for now. It's kind of like the writing on the wall, the tea leaves. I think they're getting that in Alaska. They're getting that buzz. But it's hard to pick against Lane, man. It's like I love your strategy from last week. Just pick all the terrible teams and take
That's
the points.
That's what I took. I took all the points last week. They were coming up aces, baby.
I'm probably going to do the opposite this week. Give me Ole Miss. I'll lay the 15 points down. I just know they haven't played much of a pulse this year. First SEC opponent, but I just don't trust this Auburn team. Look, they're not even talking to the players this week. Is that like unprecedented? Have we seen that before in the SEC?
I don't remember seeing it. I mean, I follow a lot of beat writers, and I have not seen the players closed off from the media in a while, at the very least, and that's what they did at Auburn this week. I think this is going to be an absolute beatdown. I think Ole Miss is going to have a fired-up crowd. I think they found a little passing game last week against a terrible Vanderbilt team. I think they run the ball really well. I think Auburn's offense is atrocious. I think they're going to get smoked in this game. I would probably lay 20 in this game, quite honestly. I think that Ole Miss is pretty good. I think they're at home. And I think, as I said, entering the Auburn game for LSU, which, of course, they threw up on themselves and got down big in the first half, I think you can break Auburn at this point. Maybe Georgia did it last week. It was 42-10. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. But I think it's possible. And Auburn doesn't have a punch back. They just don't. So I think Ole Miss absolutely trounces them in Oxford this coming weekend. All right, game 2, Vanderbilt at Georgia. The line is 38. Here's the deal with betting Vanderbilt games, not betting Vanderbilt. You don't bet the game based on how good or bad you think Vanderbilt is. You only can bet the Vanderbilt game based on how much the opponent cares in the fourth quarter. It's the only barometer that matters. I was rolling last week with Vanderbilt. They're up 3 points at halftime. They're catching 17, but Ole Miss decided they were going to care in the fourth quarter, so they blew the doors off of them, and Vanderbilt didn't cover. I don't know if Georgia cares in the fourth quarter of this game or not. I know Vanderbilt stinks, but it doesn't matter. So I don't know what I'm going to do with 38 points. I've lost every time I take Vanderbilt. Surely that can't go on forever. Give me the doors plus the 38.
38. Look, so we saw Sleepy Georgia for a couple weeks, and something tells me they snapped out of that, and they snapped out of it quick. So like I said, maybe the theme for me this week, I'll lay the points again. Give me the dogs at home. Give me Stetson, Lamar Jackson, Bennett. And I think, 38's a healthy. That's a healthy number. Healthy.
If Vanderbilt scores 10, you got work to do. You got to get to 48.
I just don't see it. The way they played against Ole Miss last week, oh, my goodness.
They're winning at halftime. Anchor down, doors. Let's go, Coach Lee. I don't need you to win a game. I don't need you to win a game the whole time you're there. Just cover one. One time, cover one. Come on, doors. We love it. All right, big one on Rocky Top. Biggest one on Rocky Top in 15 years plus. It is going to be the best environment in college football this year. The only one that might rival it would be a one-loss an undefeated Michigan-Ohio State contest, or maybe Penn State welcoming in Michigan here in a few weeks. But this one, I think, is going to be better than all of them. Tennessee's been waiting on this for a long, long time, and they've got it. And they are catching 7 points at home in this game. I'll let you kind of tee off on this one first. We got an up-close and personal look at the Vols. We kind of know what Bama is, but I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. And so good luck betting it.
Yeah, that's the question of the week. And I think that's kind of the safe number for Vegas. I think it could be slightly different if you just bank in that Bryce Young wasn't playing. I don't think you'd be catching that 7. But
you know anything about AC joints? I mean, he's a quarterback. Yeah, it's his right shoulder.
I've had both of them. I've had SC and I've had AC. It's really a pain tolerance thing. Like, it just depends on whatever your pain tolerance is. As long as there's not anything structurally wrong going on in the really deep
terrible tears. Trying to throw a post route with your shoulder hurting.
Yeah, it's all pain tolerant. So it depends on what Bryce's pain tolerance is. He could shoot it up if he wanted to. And go out there and try to light the world on fire with a numb shoulder, which I think is just as bad when you can't feel anything. Yeah. But I'll take the 7 points. Give me Tennessee. I can't put them number 1 in the SEC, and then especially if they may be going against Milroe, that's when I'm betting this on. Maybe you get Milroe. But yeah, I think that offense is flying high, and I don't think Bama's seen an offense like that. If you're on the verge of on the ropes with my boy Haynes Kings, it's a whole different animal you're going to see this week. And Bama's not played as great on the road. So I got Tennessee. It's a big spot for him. A lot of pressure, but I'll take Tennessee. So
I'm shorting you 1.5 there on FanDuel, but we've gone off the one on the internet right for the whole time. So it's 7 where I saw it, and so that's what we're going to go with. But 8.5 is the number on FanDuel right now. If you want to go to FanDuel and check this game out and you like Tennessee on the money line, plus 255, it's coming back. So $10 bet pays you $25. $100 bet pays you $255. I'm trying not to get out over my skis here. I realize there's a recency bias involved. I don't think the environment, the opponent, any of that is going to phase 24-year-old Hendon Hooker a flip. Mm-hmm. This is the type of offense that drives Nick crazy. I don't know how healthy Bryce Young is. I don't know why Alabama's favored by this much. I guess because Alabama's such a public team that they just get that much action. They've got to put it at that number to try to create the action on the other side. I'd take Tennessee on the money line. I think they're better right now. Bama's struggling with everybody they play. Yeah, I mean, they ran away from Arkansas late a little bit, but it was close in the third quarter. Give me the Vols. I mean, 7 points. I'll eat all that up. I don't have any problem taking Tennessee in that one. Again, Bama struggles with everybody. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hooker is incredible. You think he's going to go out there and throw 3 picks?
No, that's not that. It's not that Alabama defense. They're not. I mean, like we said, they're about to lose to Texas last week. You're struggling with Haynes King. Like, you were 1 yard away from losing to Haynes King. So it's hard for me to think that Tennessee offense just got to fall off a cliff in 1 week's time after that. What they've been doing, especially with the way Hooker's playing at home. It's I'm with you, Tennessee.
Got the wrong team favored. All right, Arkansas at BYU. We haven't had one of these yet this year. Pick them. So just tell me who wins this one. Arkansas and the Cougars.
KJ Jefferson back?
It's iffy. It doesn't. I don't know.
Give me the home team. I'll take BYU. I just don't love what I see from that Arkansas defense. People have been lighting them up in the run game, and they just have not played well. I know my boy, Dwight Little McLaughlin, man, who would have thought the LSU DB going to Arkansas and playing defensive back?
Makes me sad.
that's
Quite
just a whole
frankly.
other conversation. But he's been playing well. I wish he even played a lot worse, but that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, give me BYU on this one. I'll take the Cougars.
I think it's going to be a really good environment at BYU. I realize they're not going to be, all hammered drunk up there in Provo, but they got a great following, and they've got a great setting for college football. That'll be cool for those Arkansas players and fans to go check out. Something that a lot of Southeastern Conference teams have never seen. Look, Arkansas is going to have to get the ball to Rocket Sanders early and often to try to run the football in this game, because they just haven't shown that they can get the ball down the field enough. BYU was in a tight one with Notre Dame last week. It was a one-score game. They beat Baylor earlier this year on their home field. Oregon got after them a little bit up there in Eugene. 41-20 was the final there. Look, I was saying Arkansas's praises pretty strongly after 2 weeks. I think I probably had them at third in the power rankings because I just trusted their defense, and I thought KJ was playing really, really well. I can't trust their defense right now. They're not playing very well, and outside of Drew Sanders, really none of them are playing very well. I'm going to take BYU here. I don't really feel very good about it because I don't know enough about BYU, but it's a home game. They're battle-tested. It's not like this is going to be a huge step up in competition after they've played 3 good teams this year. So I'll take BYU at home and see where the chips fall. And the last one, really, really interesting game here. Mississippi State is headed to Lexington, Kentucky. I do think Will Levis is going to play. However, Kentucky is catching 4 points at home against a Mississippi State team that's playing very well.
Yeah, I got to roll with Mississippi State. I believe in momentum. I believe in when guys get in the groove, it's very, very difficult to stop. And I think that's exactly where Rogers has going. He's already at 2,200 passing yards. Normally, back in the day, that was like a full season's work for an LSU quarterback. Yeah. Like he has that already throughout the season, leading the SEC in passing touchdowns. You got this offense. I don't know what happened after he left Baton Rouge, but he's been on fire since then. And I think with the shaky Levis situation, even how Levis played against Ole Miss, don't love that very much. I got to go with Mississippi State here.
Allow me to overreact massively, and I'll do so again on Monday if what may happen happens. Stoops is playing with a little bit of fire here. Kentucky may be playing with a little bit of fire here because I know one thing for sure. If Kentucky loses this game to go to 1-3 in SEC play and 4-3 on the season, they turn their eyes directly to Rupp Arena. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. We're out on football. Sorry. We're watching this. That's what happens up there when you can't get through October. And I don't know, this is, again, an overreaction admittedly, but it's a radio show. If he doesn't look at this and go, man, I got the NFL quarterback. I won 10 games a couple times. This is as good as I can do. Who's got a job open? What, Nebraska? You want to talk? I mean, Wisconsin? You want to talk? Auburn's open? I don't know. Allow me to hypothesize a little bit and think about what could happen if they get beat by 20 points by Mississippi State and everybody up there tunes out and the NFL quarterback leaves, which they never get in Lexington, and Mark Stoops goes, yeah, I've kind of maxed this thing out. I'll go take another job where the buyout's massive and if things don't go great after 4 years, they'll cut me a check for $10 million, and here we are. So that's a little bit much. So with all that being said, give me the Wildcats to be a little bit different from you. I could not go into the weekend, if this is going to be a competition, I could not go into the weekend with my only difference from you being betting on Vandy. I can't. That is not a safe place to be. So give me Kentucky. I'll try to diversify a little bit there, and I'll take the Wildcats plus the 4 points on their home field. Hopefully Levis plays, and I do think that Mississippi State's playing great football, and that win continues to appreciate in value for LSU. When you look back on it now and you see what Mississippi State's done week to week, and you realize how well LSU did play in that game, specifically in the second half, to really put the clamps on State and to run the football and put that game away and win it, fairly comfortably late in that game. Really nice win, and I think there's one or two more of those left in LSU's holster. But there are probably one or two more clunkers where they can't do anything on offense. But that was one day where they showed up, and I think that's the nature of this season for LSU. You just see what you can do week to week. All right, let's come back. We know how loaded this college football slate is. There are 6 games between ranked teams. I think there are some guys that can take massive steps forward for the Heisman Trophy. We'll tell you who next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford. The inventory's all there at BayouFord.com. Earlier this week, told you about the convenience with the service department. They'll bring you a car. They'll take yours down to the dealership. They'll take the service work, and then they'll send it right back to you. You never miss a beat. Plus, they got the entire inventory right there at BayouFord.com. You can look at each and every vehicle that they have. They've got the picture of it. They've got the details. They've got the Carfax. They've got the pricing. Call Beignet, Gagne, and the crew if you see something you like. If you don't see that Bronco, you don't see that Explorer, Expedition, F-150 that you want, well, they can customize it for you. 60 to 90 days, it'll be turned right back around. You get exactly the car that meets your specifications, and you get on down the road after they deliver it right to your front door.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They have the all-new 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline. It has tinted windows, a ready-lift 3 kit on there. Also, all-new 2021 Ford F-150s. They're getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
Love to hear it. Every car, every new purchase, 1 million mile powertrain warranty over there at Bayou Ford. The inventory is at BayouFord.com. Bayou Ford, they're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to
Jimmy on 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with bunch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I think the Heisman winner is going to have a monster day tomorrow. I don't know who it is, but I think he's going to have a monster day. We'll start in the SEC. There are 2 guys who can can take huge steps toward that, and Bryce Young would be one. We understand who he is, what he's been, and if he comes back off injury and wills his team to a win at top 5 Tennessee team on the road, that's a pretty big deal for him. But on the other side is where it gets a lot more interesting. I do sincerely believe, when I was tossing national championship picks at you earlier this week, like I don't think UCLA or Ole Miss is going to win the national championship. And I don't think Tennessee is going to win the national championship, but I can't scratch them off the list. I don't think they can. I mean, I don't think they're going to. I think that Bama's there. I think that Georgia's there. I think Ohio State's there. There are a lot of things you've got to jump over. We're not there yet. I saw somebody on Twitter say maybe we're 2019 LSU and we just don't know it yet. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. But it looks pretty good. And if Hendon Hooker goes out there tomorrow and throws for 375 and 4 touchdowns and they win by 20 points, hello. I mean, am I wrong?
No, not at all. I mean, look at Vegas doesn't lie, man. He started the season at plus 6,600. That number is all the way down to 1,400 right about now. So, the numbers don't lie. And I think for Hendon, after this game, I would love to see what those numbers are looking like if they somehow win this football game and he has a big-time performance beating Alabama in a game like this. And, a lot of spot where people feel like the pressure is going to be too much for Tennessee. I see some people in the Bayou for chat, oh, y'all picked Tennessee, it's hammered, Bama. Like,
go ahead,
I don't know.
Get after it.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not so sure about it. I'm looking at this offense. He has full control over it, and they go fast. And you talk about trying to neutralize a guy like Will Anderson. You do that, keep him on the field for 10 plays in a row and get the ball out and run a ton of plays and do that for 4 quarters. It's just very, very difficult to deal with, especially if you have a quarterback not turning it over. So, yeah, I agree with you. If Hendon Hooker wins this football game, I think you can make a case he's the Heisman favorite right now.
Look at the teams that have beaten Saban. Joe moving things, being in control. Johnny Manziel going light and year fast. I mean, Cam didn't go that fast, but he went pretty fast. I mean, there are more over the years, but would you rather Tennessee try to line it up and pound it right at them? I mean, this is how you beat them. You get a quarterback back there that's a stud, and you let them work. So that's we'll see. Another guy that no one's really talking about right now, and for good reason because they haven't played anybody, but the stats are really good, and there are huge spots coming up for J.J. McCarthy at Michigan. And if you want to sneak some Heisman money around that may come back a huge ticket, probably not going to get that with Hendon Hooker or Bryce Young, even though 1,400 is not bad. But J.J. McCarthy to this point at Michigan, his statistics are eye-popping. He's completing 78% of his throws. That leads the country. 9 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's run for another touchdown and 90 yards. They've won every game convincingly, but they've still got Penn State this week. They've still got to go. They still play Ohio State. They may have a Big Ten championship game potentially. And so that's a guy at a big-name school at the right position in a school that did prove last year they've got a pretty talented roster. Now I realize you lose Hutchinson, you've lost some guys, but the stats line up right now, and now you get to the big stage is kind of what I'm saying. So if you want one with the long shot odds that may come back, J.J. McCarthy might be one to look at.
Yeah, I think long shot. I'm going to go long shot with that one because I think they just have so much more work to do. In order to make that case, especially when you kind of look at what else is out there in the country. When you have quarterbacks in the SEC, obviously C.J. Stroud in your same division, I think a lot of those guys have just a stronger case for the Heisman Trophy right now. But I would definitely say, if they can somehow, continue to win these big-time games. I know they got a huge one this weekend. He can definitely have a case later on. I think it's just a little too early in the process for me to kind of put him somewhere, some of the other guys, and give him a nod over them.
The other guy that it's not a game I've heard talked about a lot this week. I've watched a reasonable amount of national stuff and listened to a little national stuff in the morning. Caleb Williams, 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns, 1 pick. They are underdogs against Utah this week. That's name recognition. That's brand recognition with USC. That's an entire half of the country you can get votes from. And he's got every ingredient that you would want, but he's a little bit under the radar because USC's been a little sleepy for a little while. I think if you can beat Utah and as an underdog and put up big stats doing it, all of a sudden he comes flying up the roof.
Yeah, that's one that I would kind of feel a little more comfortable because it's 2 different things. For one, that conference and the defenses they're going to be playing against week in and week out, and then 2, Lincoln Riley. You saw just how much that blow hit that Oklahoma offense just with the second he left out of that door. He can dial them up, and I think you got a quarterback and a coordinator who are on the same page with the alignment that you love to see. I think, Bryce definitely, Caleb definitely has a case to definitely have a chance to win the Heisman.
Yeah, I'm a little curious about the J.J. McCarthy thing because I think he looks pretty good at the part. And, yeah, I get it. Like, we're not going to go nuts because you threw a bunch of touchdowns against Hawaii. That's not gonna get it done. We're not thrilled that UConn couldn't put up a fight against you and it was 59-0. Iowa's defense has been decent, and their offense is just worse than words can describe. I'm a words guy. I'm in a words profession. I can't simply describe to you Iowa's offense because it's far too bad for the English vernacular. But their defense has been reasonable, and McCarthy was okay in that game. He took care of it. Now, you can't win the Heisman taking care of it, but when you're playing Iowa, why would you put it in harm's way? Their offense can't score.
Yeah.
Now, Penn State can. So let's see what he's going to do in that game. That's not a game, obviously, that we've talked about a lot this week. We spend more of our time on the Southeastern Conference. But Penn State came down to Auburn and put a beat down on them. We don't think Auburn's very good, but Michigan's totally untested, other than the fact that they stood tall last year until they got to Georgia. How do you see that one going in the Big Ten?
Yeah, that's a big-time matchup, but I'm just not sold on Penn State quite yet. I think kind of,
big noon kickoff.
Yeah, gosh, I'm glad I never went to the Big Ten. I couldn't imagine that every single Saturday just waking up at 6, 7 in the morning to go play football. It's not fun, but I just not sold on Penn State. And then obviously they felt great about going to the Plains. We just lit them up, rushed the – dude, it's Auburn. Relax. Like, they haven't really shown me enough. I don't think they've turned that corner quite yet. And I think Khaki Pants, what he's done with Michigan over these past 2 seasons, has been very impressive. So I do like their roster top to bottom. I do, like their quarterback a little better than they do. So I would have to favor Michigan in that matchup.
Me too, I think. Penn State was in a bit of a tough spot there. First week, we know how LSU played the first week. Their first week, national television spotlight at Purdue. Stadium was full. It was electric, and they got out of there alive 35-31. I didn't love some of Purdue's calls at the end of that game, but it is what it is. So I would say going to Auburn in a hornet's nest and dominating and going to Purdue will have Penn State prepped and ready to play as they go to the Big House. Michigan will have that crowd behind them. I'm going to take Michigan in that game. I haven't looked at the number on it. I'm sure you could have gotten that in spades in the early show with Jimmy and Charlie over there at Rufino's. But I would imagine it's pretty tight, if I would think. Scores. Let's go top 25 here. The number is 7. Michigan is 7-point choice. I don't know. It means I think they're 4 points better. I would be uncomfortable laying 7. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know 7 was involved with that. I just picked them to kind of.
No, I was asking for a winner. But
yeah. I think covering that, it's a lot. If I had to pick, I probably think Penn State could cover that 7 points, but I think Michigan comes out and edges them.
Should be an awesome environment. Big noon kickoff in the Big House. We're going to look at a couple other national games. I'll just throw this out there. Kansas, number 19 in the country, at Oklahoma. 0-3 in the Big 12. Can the Jayhawks go to Norman and get it done?
Man, that offense looks scary, man. Talk about being a Boomer Sooner fan right now. And you have to worry about losing to Kansas. Like, if you imagine being in a coma and waking up like, oh, my Sooners, man. Good, I get to watch my Sooners. And then you just watch y'all get absolutely destroyed by the Kansas Jayhawks in a football game.
Rock chalk, baby. Beware the fog. Beware all he who enter here.
Yeah, that's who. New times in college football. Give me Jalen Daniels at quarterback. I got the Jayhawks.
Oh, really? Wow, that's a bit much. Look, interestingly enough, staying in the Big 12, Oklahoma State. It says on paper right now their next 4 games are against ranked teams. Shout out to the Big 12. They're at TCU on Saturday. We'll talk about that in a second. They play Texas in Stillwater coming up in next week. And they are at Kansas State the following week. And then they'll play at Kansas, who currently right now is ranked. One of the bigger games on the card that probably nobody's going to talk about because there's way too many good games to talk about. But TCU hosting Oklahoma State in Fort Worth is a big one between unbeaten teams.
No, that's a big one, and I think these are two teams that
If the Big 12 wants to get in the playoff.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Oklahoma is dead.
Yeah, I think if you're a Big 12 team, you got to go undefeated. I don't think you're getting an over one-loss Georgia, getting in over one-loss Tennessee, getting in over one-loss Bama. It's just not happening. So quit asking. So I don't think that's going to be their avenue. So I think they definitely, if you're TCU, it's a big spot for you. If you can somehow find a way to win this game, obviously that big time win you had last week. Yeah, you gotta have to stay undefeated. I'll probably go. I'll stick with since my aunt's a professor at TCU, I'll go with the Horned Frogs. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Spencer Sanders playing quarterback for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I think they get it done. I want to remind you, professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com. 30 minutes to go. Hope your Friday is clipping right along. It is here. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Just join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 1045 ESPN.
Head over to the FanDuel Sportsbook. So easy to use. You can live bet during the games. When you win, you get paid quickly. A bunch of great features about the FanDuel Sportsbook. But most of you listening want to know about the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Headed down to Gainesville, Florida. You can bet this game. You can bet the line. You can bet the money line. You can bet the over-under. A lot of people going to be leaning under on this one because these offenses have shown absolutely no ability to sustain much of anything consistently. So check it out on the FanDuel Sportsbook. It's all safe, secure, super easy to use. You don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with the promo code 1045 ESPN. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bet. Expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7.
7 in the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic Eye and Central kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our final picks coming up in less than 20 minutes. The final segment on Friday, always your picks segment. We'll pick the Saints and Bengals game. We'll also pick LSU and Florida. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Hope your Friday is going well. Want to remind you again for our schedule tomorrow. I think I messed it up in the first hour. We're going to get it right this time. Your game day schedule. Kickoff is at 6 o'clock Central. Eagle on 8.1 game day will air from Rouse's Charles Handegriff and Matt Musso at 1 o'clock. So fire things up at 1 o'clock for Eagle on 8.1 game day. They'll be with you for 3 hours. I will take over on the LSU Sports Radio Network for the official post-game show. That pregame show, that's a mess up, but the pregame show starts at 4. We'll be on for 90 minutes, and we'll toss things to the broadcast team inside the swamp. They will have the call of the game 30 minutes after the game goes final. Marlon Favorite, Jeremy Hill. Wow. Marlon Favorite, Brandon Taylor, and myself will be with you 30 minutes after it goes final for an hour, and 90 minutes after it goes final, Charles Handegriff and Jeremy Hill on Eagle 98.1 Game Day's post-game show. What a pathetic week for me. If this was a meritocracy or I was paid by the performance, I would be giving money back to Guarantee this week, but whatever. We're about to be done with it here in about 20 minutes. So we do this at the end of every show, but our final picks coming up at the end of the show. Let's do some take it or leave it.
Alrighty here. After adding another wildcard team to the MLB playoffs and removing the sudden death format in the first round, the MLB playoffs receive a huge boost in viewership for this season playoffs. Are you taking or leaving the MLB made the right move switching to this format?
I'll take it. Give the really good teams a week off or weekend off, and you allow more teams a chance to make the playoffs. That's really tough on the Mets, who won 101 games and got sent home pretty quick. But the Braves caught them, and they got swept by the Cubs late. So if you're going to do that, not going to help your cause very much. I always said that sudden death wild card game was a lot to chew on, and the Pirates one year won 100 games. Not 1 year, 2015 won over 100 games, and the Cubs played them, and then they've had to face Jake Arrieta, who was unhittable. He was the best pitcher on the planet for a year and a half, and he threw a complete game shutout. And there's nothing they could do. 101 games they won. Hosted a game. We hit Garrett Cole out of the yard twice, and they got sent home for the winter. So I think it's probably right. It does water down the regular season a little bit because far more teams get in, but you do reward excellence by allowing a bye. So I think they got it right. John Elway of the Denver Broncos may have been taking a shot at Nathaniel Hackett, his current head coach. He was singing the praises of Vikings Kevin O'Connell, saying his team was real close to hiring Kevin O'Connell and that he was really impressed with that interview. You need to brag about a 4-1 coach you didn't hire while your coach is stinking up the joint. Take it or leave it.
I mean, I gotta definitely leave this. Like John, hindsight's obviously 2020. Yeah, we were looking after O'Connell. Yeah, he's looking so great. Got Jets rolling. Got Kirk Cousins looking like an MVP, and we got Nathaniel Hackett who runs out the entire minute and kicks a 67-yard field goal. Running the show. Yeah, no, John. You made the hire. That's your guy. You got to stick beside it. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. It seems like John you got Peyton in there, and then after, it's not much riding for Broncos country. I don't know how much riding Broncos country is.
You were playing at the time. Did you see John Elway when Tim Tebow was winning games in Denver?
Oh, he was sick to the stomach.
He was mortified. They hit that playoff over route to Demarius Thomas against the Steelers. Elway was furious.
Yeah, he was sick.
Oh,
Look,
my gosh.
I was playing against him when they had the immortal Brock Osweiler running the show. Gave
6'7" Brock Osweiler.
Giving him $66 million. Like, Elway, I don't know, man. Just paid Russell a lot of cheese. We'll see how that plays out. All right, next one here. The NFL, they decided to fine Tom Brady $11,000 for a kick on Grady Jarrett when he was called for a roughing the passer penalty last Sunday. Are you taking or leaving? Tom likely had more money in his back pocket when they laid out this fine.
I think I'm trying to figure out why the $11,000. They probably went to his car and then opened the glove box or like the console and whatever was in it. They just like, that's your fine, like whatever you got on. Yeah, like the wallet. I mean, maybe it was like, oh, what was your last golf wager? How much did you lose on that? About 11 grand. All right, we'll just go with that.
Funny you say that. I'm in like in the locker room, like chilling, doing my rehab stuff, whatever. And Tom walks into. So we have a cornhole like in the middle of the locker room. This guy walks in the locker room, bets $10,000 on just one throw of cornhole. Of course, he sinks. It seems like a Michael Jordan fairy tale story, but this dude betting $10K on a cornhole.
Who paid it?
It was Brian Hoyer. Him and Brian Hoyer bet at that.
Whoops.
And Tom just totally destroyed him. But yeah, I'm pretty sure pocket change for my boy Tommy B.
I mean, pretty sure he's not even the breadwinner in the family. Giselle makes more than him. This divorce is going to be a riot.
Ooh, I would love to. Yeah, be that attorney. Yeah,
it's just going to be a lot of hours. We're billing hours, and they don't have cheap attorneys either. They got the ones billing truckloads hours. So yeah, that's going to be it's going to be something. All right. Ron Rivera may have thrown Carson Wentz a little bit under the bus earlier this week when they asked him, what's the difference in these teams? This team, quarterback. Well, last night, Riverboat Ron said after they beat the Bears that Carson Wentz didn't deserve to have all the criticism because Ron Rivera was the one looking at the analytics. He had the piece of paper. He had his back. Riverboat Ron probably should stop talking in extremes about Carson Wentz. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking that.
I'll take it.
I've never seen one extreme. And we're not talking about a month later
it's
or
3
2
days.
months later. We're talking about 3 days later. And then having the audacity to like raise your voice and get mad at the media for doing their
He
job.
left the press conference. I'm out. I'm done.
Like, what did you expect to happen? Like, anyways, Riverboat Ron, he got a team to a Super Bowl. Woohoo, congratulations. But dude, like, just leave it alone. Like, we know what Carson is to this point. Like last night, 99 passing yards in a game.
Chopping them up.
Probably leave that alone, Ron.
I'll
Leave it
be
alone.
very, very honest. I have not tuned into the Amazon game the last 2 weeks. I think I've missed one touchdown. Is that accurate?
Oh, yeah. You missed one touchdown. One amazing. And then the Bears got inside the 5-yard line twice.
Excellent
Found
work
a
by
way
the
not to
Bears.
score.
That's very good. They should be applauded for that. Look, Ron Rivera, I mean, you got asked, what's the difference between you and your division? And you said, the quarterback. It's like, that's pretty black and white. You probably shouldn't tell everybody that they're the ones that are screwing up here when you said that.
I don't know. The thing for me, it's like, I don't know if it was an act or was he like really, like, was he confused? Like, no, he had a little health trouble not too long ago, but like, I just kind of blew me away.
I mean,
like,
look,
I don't know.
Nothing holds less water than me complaining about Nick Saban. I'm self-aware. I'm not trying to be smarter than Saban. I'm not trying to trick him. I'm not trying to say that my opinion means more than his. It doesn't. But the fact of the matter is that he jumps down the media's throat the week they play a patsy in November or right before the Auburn game, saying every game's the same and you can't talk about Georgia Southern because they ran through us like blank through a tin horn and all that kind of stuff, and everybody needs to say that this team's good, and like he's yelling at the media for not saying that their non-conference game is a big deal. And then he comes back in media days talking about scheduling, and he says that it's really you can't put a good team on your schedule every week. It's like, wait a second, Nick, you're gonna tell me in June that you can't put a good team on your schedule, or in July you can't do it every week, and then they ask if you want to get the freshman quarterback in the next week. What are we supposed to do here? Everyone's aware that Western Carolina stinks and you're going to be up 40-0 at halftime. It's just sometimes when you talk in front of the media, a lot of time when we talk here, like, you're going to contradict yourself every once in a while. Ron Rivera kind of did it there. That's your Thursday edition of Take It or Leave It here. We always do that to end of the show, but on Fridays we do it to begin in the middle of the third hour, because when we come back after this final timeout of the week, we will make our final pick. We have got Saints and Bengals on Sunday in the Dome, and we have got the Tigers and the Gators in Gainesville. My final picks this year have been atrocious. We'll see how it goes next. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Reliable Roofing and Construction. Love telling you about Reliable Roofing, and you can find the website at reliableroofingbr.com.
Yeah, so happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
I love looking at their stuff on Instagram, at Reliable Roofing LLC. They show you a lot of great before and after pictures. They've got some drone shots. They got a cool video that uses this live read that we do, which we appreciate, and we love working with Reliable Roofing and Construction. Lionel Hayes, born and raised in Baton Rouge, not some fly-by-night company that's going to come in, help you out after a storm, and then leave, and then you'll never see them again. No, they're a Baton Rouge company. They're going to be here. And when a Reliable Roofing and Construction team member comes to your site, when their group comes to do your work, Lionel Hayes will visit that site. He visits every single one that his teams work on at Reliable Roofing and Construction. Every single job, 5-year labor warranty, and all month long in October. Give them a call, $1,000 off. They just want to do their part with Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in October. So $1,000 off every single roof that they do at Reliable Roofing. They can do inspections, they can do repairs, they can do replacements. Reliable Roofing and Construction. Check out the website, reliableroofingbr.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done
with passion for our fans
and love for our community.
We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll preview the biggest games with Phil Steele. The Riot Radio Hours return. Our guest picker. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Little baseball update before our football picks. Yankees and Guardians going at it in the Bronx. Yankees 2, Guardians 2 in the bottom of the 7th. My first baseman hitting for the Yankees currently. We'll see how Riz does here. Swing and a miss. I don't think Riz is down on strikes. He is. And that is your baseball update for the day. If you missed any of the show, you can catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on YouTube. Angelo Comalone's brought you the opening hour. We talked LSU Florida for the first 30 minutes of the show. We went through our NFL tiers as we always do on Fridays, and then we went over Saints Bengals at 1:45. SEC gambling picks at you at 2 o'clock. Little Heisman discussion, and then, of course, take it or leave it. So check all that out on demand. All right, time now for our final picks. We will start in the Superdome Sunday, Saints and Bengals.
New Orleans Saints. The Cincinnati Bengals. Final pick.
All right, Hilly, you got the jersey on. You got the Joe B. Black jersey on. I think they're going to be in white when they come to the Superdome on Sunday. It's your former employer. What do you got?
Look, Saints fan, I picked against you guys last week. Didn't feel great about that terrible Seattle football team coming into town, but I thought they'd get the edge. And look, you guys won. So let's follow that up. Maybe Saints fans won't hate me so much. I'm going to take the Bengals, of course. I got the Bengals winning this 29-22. I think it's a lot of question marks when we don't have Michael Thomas and obviously Jarvis Landry going into that game. I think Hendrickson is going to have a little more juice to get after that Saints quarterback, being that they didn't want to break the bag out for him. So I got the Bengals winning this game, and I think Jamar Chase is due for a big-time football game, not the kind of big-time performances we've seen from him. He's due for a 3-digit type game next Sunday. So I got the Bengals winning this one.
I was checking the over-under, and it has me – I'm exactly 1 point over the line, so I guess – I'm in line with Vegas. That's got to be a good start, I would think. Look, the Saints have one way to win this game. They simply have to dominate the Bengals' offensive line. That defensive front has got to get after Joe Burrow. I'm not saying you're always going to force Joe into turnovers, but you can beat him up and limit drives if you can beat that Bengals offensive front. The Saints defense is going to have to carry the day, and you got to find a way for Andy to get the ball down the field and find a way to get Alvin Kamara the ball and screen passes, swing passes, angle routes, whatever you can do, because he's your best playmaker with your top 2 receivers out. Hopefully Olave gives it a go. I am going to trust the Saints in a lively Superdome on Sunday. I think it's going to be a lot of fun in there. I'm going to go watch LSU baseball scrimmage instead of watching this one. I'll check the DVR after I get home. But I do have the Saints winning this one by a final score of 23-21. I think a nail-biter, maybe a late field goal by Will Lutz to win it. Seems like the Bengals are always in a late field goal game. The Saints have kind of been that way this year as well. So I'll take the Saints in that defensive line, 23-21 to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, time for LSU in Florida.
Florida Gators. The SEC on CBS tonight, the Florida Gators against the Tigers of LSU.
Looking forward to obviously playing at Florida, coming back from disappointing loss last week. Guys are excited about the opportunity. Our guys are excited about the challenge.
And the Florida Gators.
Yeah, nothing that's happened in the past will affect the game Saturday night.
You don't need to bring common sense. You don't need to be reasoning when you predict this game. Some team does something that we're not accustomed to seeing them do. For LSU, this would be a massive win.
Now, here's on Palmer and Jeremy Hill's final pick.
Tigers are 2.5-point dogs in the swamp. Jeremy, how do you see it?
Look, I know your future and your past here. When you do make a certain decision in picking these games and kind of the backlash you receive, I think I'm going to have to take that backlash this week. I'm pushing Napier, people. I'm sorry to tell you. I got Florida winning this one 24-13.
13?
Yeah.
That's not very good.
Magical number 13. Somehow we get to that number.
It's 1 touchdown.
Maybe
2 if you get an extra point block. You know what I'm saying?
Defensive touchdown. I'm just not sold on this offense right now. And I think in that hostile road environment, I just think it doesn't bode well. And I think what I've seen from Richardson, good bag. It seems like he's due for one of those big-time games. And what I saw from the rush defense last week, I don't love, and I just don't feel great about this one. And for me, I got to see more from JD5 throwing the ball down the field. Now, if he goes out there and lights the world on fire, you said he's due for one. Maybe you don't know which week it may come.
Just one play, not a whole game. One play. Get it down the field.
I just haven't seen it, man. If this game was at home, I'd probably feel a lot different about it. Night at the Swamp with the offense who's got to 100,000,000% receive the ball first and most likely not score first. I don't feel good about it. Sorry, Bayou for Chad. You can hate me if you want, but I just don't feel great about this one.
You did this for the Saints game. I'm doing it for LSU. I picked LSU to beat Florida State. How'd that go? I picked Mississippi State to clock LSU. How'd that go? I picked LSU to go to Auburn and embarrass them and fire the coach. How'd that go? I picked LSU to beat Tennessee last week. How'd that go? So none of my picks are any good. So who cares what I do? I'll try to analyze this thing. Last week was weakness on strength with LSU and Tennessee. You had the LSU, strength on strength. And this week, your strength on strength is Florida's offensive line against LSU's defensive line. If LSU does not win that battle up front on the defensive line against Florida's offensive line, and they let Florida run the football, they have no chance to win the game. My sincere hope is that they do. And my sincere hope is that LSU does get the ball down the football field a little bit. But at this point, why would I trust that? I think Florida's going to have a really good environment in there. And I'm not picking on emotion this week because I don't have a ton. It's not a home game. I've got Florida winning in the Swamp 30-20 against LSU. Hopefully I'm dead wrong, but we'll see on Monday. Matt Moscona going to drive you home here on After Further Review. Coming up next, we'll see you on Monday. It's Hunt and Hill.